With the 10-year anniversary of Rocket League approaching, there's a sentiment of frustration with Epic Games in the community, and a few videos ago I tried addressing just one of the issues within the Rocket League ecosystem at the moment, YouTube. But today I want to try put things into perspective and give a slightly broader opinion of the game, of Epic, without this video just being, of course, an Epic bad circle jerk or being a sensationalist clickbait video. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is, well, because the numbers aren't saying the game's in decline. The activity of the game is healthy, so why are there so many reservations of the current state of the game nowadays? Sometimes I'd rather have Mr. Beast running this game rather than Epic Games because, to some extent, I feel kind of let down. I've been trying to defend Epic. I've been understanding of the fact that they have Fortnite, which in my opinion is always going to be bigger than Rocket League and requires a lot more attention, requires more money and more resources. Understandable, right? We get that as a community. I think we do, right? Let's not be delusional. But then there comes a time when you're like, why are there 3 server outages, major outages, keep in mind, in a single month? I mean, I'm talking about January and February, over those 2 months technically, so 20, 25 days. And it's like, guys, what are we doing here? What are we actually doing? Where are the, where's the communication? Where's the rapid communication between the community? And where are you guys letting us know that, oh, we're undergoing maintenance? They don't even do maintenance on the servers. Instead, we just have to wait for them to randomly crash and then there you go, welcome to the game, I guess. And keep in mind, this thing is happening, for a long time now. There's been many issues which we've swept under the rug. We've talked about esports in the past, we've talked about a bunch of different things. We've allowed them to get swept under the rug. We said, okay, fair enough, Epic Games has Fortnite, we have to understand that, right? But then it keeps going on and on and on, and to some extent they're just ignoring pretty much everything. For a game that's not really in a severely declining state, or for a game that's, actually in a healthy state in terms of its players, for them to be completely ignoring us is kind of bizarre. And I did mention this, I think a few videos back, that I'd rather have Epic not even buy this game in the first place, because truth be said, we've not really seen anything from them which would hint us towards growth. Like, the game is fine as it is, of course, will survive, but it's just them, really. It's the fact that they have that negative aura around them and they have Fortnite, which in my opinion is already big enough for them. I really don't know how they can fit Rocket League in that portfolio of games. And Rocket League is a big game, of course. And I don't want to really drag this out too long as a point, because I feel like this is really all I want to say about Epic. I think their communication has been really, really poor, and I do not want to keep talking about Epic every single time whenever I mention Rocket League, because it's not just on Epic Games. There's a few other factors within the game which have contributed to a slightly plateauing state, we could say, or kind of a stagnant state. When you look at the player base that this game has, well, you'll actually realize that it's actually doing fine. It's nowhere near a decline, it's nowhere near anything negative on that regard, because there's millions of people playing every single month. I've talked about this on this video, and I said that actually people are making it seem like it's some kind of tragic situation where the game is on a severe decline. No, see, that's not the problem. The problem is the actual attention outside of the game. Now, when you try transfer like 10 million people who play this game every month in total towards YouTube, you'll realize that only like 1 million, and if 10% of them barely watch YouTube or even engage with content outside of, the actual game. Like, the truth is, the attention of the game has gone down outside of the real, game itself, Rocket League. And that's kind of easy to understand why. I mean, Rocket League content, YouTube content specifically, is dry. Not the actual game only. The actual YouTube scene is really, really, really struggling to get like some kind of creativity. I mean, you see all these dumb videos about ranks, about freestylers every single month. There's no new ideas on that. There's this video I saw recently which kind of explains it well. And I kind of agree with it, because it's hilarious how, people will complain about views being down and then realize that they're just making the same content over and over and over. And it's easy to understand why people aren't engaging with the game as much outside of the real game itself. People don't really care for it. I mean, the game itself is really fun, but when it comes to just looking to YouTube or Twitch, I mean, look at Twitch. The views on Twitch are hilariously low. And it's so weird, whenever it's not RLCS, it's like, you have these big streamers with like 2k or 1k viewers peak, and then you wonder, like, what on earth is going on with the actual community? Why is it so disconnected between content creation and actually playing the game? And of course, I'm not saying you need to have at least 50% of the players who play this game daily having to watch, YouTube content or Twitch content, but actually having that link really does help the game grow and supports it, whereas now we don't really have as much views being pulled in by the big guys. I've again mentioned this before. I'm probably going to keep mentioning this until I see some kind of difference. because the scene in itself, it's stagnating. It's not declining severely, it's not rising, it's just stagnating. And this kind of plateau that we've seen in the past few years is natural. It's not just Epic Games inflicted, it's kind of self-inflicted. We've allowed ourselves to kind of go down this black hole of content. We've been truthfully being fed really repetitive content. Very few YouTubers, I'd say, actually make funny and intriguing content nowadays, and that has contributed to quite a lot of, I guess, viewership loss. But that's definitely not the only issue, and I'm going to actually mention the next issue right now. RLCS. Well, RLCS is a great esport. It's got all the necessities, all the ingredients that a game needs to be big. And to be honest with you, it's definitely underwhelming that it's not being supported more. Now, the reason why I say this is because look at the viewership. Like, as we talked about viewership before, I'm now going to mention viewership for RLCS. RLCS actually has very good viewers. Truthfully, it has very, very good numbers. And for the budget that's actually being kind of slashed in the past 2 years, it's doing well. Very, very well. You know, you have all these different stories coming out of RLCS. You have these really big youngsters, these wonder kids, superstars, whatever you want to call them, you know, coming through in the Rocket League Pro scene. And then you look at the investment that's coming in to actually support the so-called growth of the pro scene. And then you realize it's actually very minimal, and if anything, we're going backwards. That's purely on Epic Games and the guys organizing esports. Now, Epic Games, I think, partners with this, I don't remember exactly what they're called, I'll try to find it, but I think so far they've not done a great job, truthfully. I think the cuts in the casting has been pretty evident. I mean, I saw a few people on Reddit talking about it, and then I actually went ahead, watched it, and I realized some majors have had some subpar casting. I will just say that, and it's not the casters' fault, of course. I mean, they're being paid less to do what they would have loved to do for more money. And when you look at the money that's coming into CSGO, Valorant, all these other esports, you see that Rocket League kind of has like the fraction of that. And even though Rocket League is such a unique game with millions of players every single month playing it, the esports scene is kind of underwhelming, and it's almost like we're a victim of our own, you know, uniqueness with this game, because this game has no crossovers. This game has literally no like this guy who said this on Reddit, I'm pretty sure, and I really share that same opinion and the same kind of sentiment, that this game has no potential crossovers with CSGO fans, with Valorant fans, you know, with Fortnite fans. It's just in a genre of its own, which means that we're kind of stranded, really. Like, if the esport doesn't perform, it's not like we can just do some, you know, collabs with other esports. We can't pull in basically a Valorant player to Rocket League because it's not an FPS game. It's not exactly like FIFA as well. You're not going to pull in a FIFA player to Rocket League because it's not the same at all. You can't pull in a 2K fan just because it's a sports game. That's the thing. We have no potential crossovers, so it means that this game needs a lot of investment, which is not coming through from Epic. Now, that's really the only major issue, because aside from that, the viewership is great. The players, I've said before, I mean, you have amazing players, you have really dedicated teams who are really trying to put on a show for us, but we do need the investment, and that has to come very, very soon if we're to solve this weird state that Rocket League's in right now.